Yo, quick question. What does your dream game look like? Maybe it's an RPG, a puzzle game, a platformer, or maybe all the above. Regardless of whatever it is, let's just say you have an idea in mind, but have no clue where to start. Don't worry about it, I got you. For those who don't know me, my name is Amani, and a while back I took up the challenge to create and release my very first game, but only within 1 month. It was a great experience, however, I totally underestimated how much research I had to put in and how much time I had to invest. But don't get discouraged because I'm about to show you exactly what you need to do to bring your dream to reality. Step 1. Figure out the genre of your game. This is the most important step in creating a video game because it will set the roadmap for the rest of development. So let's say after hearing this you're like,
wow, I can't wait to make a multiplayer.
No. If you don't want the vibe check of your life, get some fights under your belt and try again later. Other than a multiplayer game, feel free to try out any other genre. On the harder side of things, you have RPGs. On the simpler side, you have platformers. But I recommend choosing the one that interests you the most, because either way, you'll end up learning a lot. Step 2. Set limitations for yourself. This sounds a bit contradictory considering you want to make your dream game, but I don't mean this in a give up on your dreams kind of way. It's easy to get lost in the sauce when you're designing a game, and this can make you stay in the development phase for years at a time. So it helps to create a timeline for when you should have things done. So here's a piece of advice for you. Whatever timeline you think you can finish your game in, double it. From my experience, it always takes more time to do this than you initially think. Step 3. Figure out the mechanics. Whatever mechanics you choose to add to the game could either make or break the whole experience. In this case, think less is more. Some of the most enjoyable games have the simplest mechanics. For Undertale fights, you're just moving a heart across a screen and occasionally clicking a button if you feel like it. But the Sans fight was one of the most memorable experiences in the game. You don't want to add too many mechanics to the point that your player feels overwhelmed. But you have to make sure that the mechanics you add are fun to play. An example of well-designed mechanics is the movement system in the game Warframe. The whole game loop is centered around fast-paced movement, and without it, the game loses a lot of its appeal. This should be the point where you spend the most amount of time in development. Don't even think about adding sounds or music or visual effects if your mechanics are still boring. Figure those out first and then you can move on. Step 4. Build the rest of your game. You can think of the mechanics like a potato, and everything else is just a spice. Sure, you can eat a potato by itself, but that's just kinda sad. So you gotta make sure to add some spices if you want to enjoy your meal. But sometimes choosing the right spice can be a bit tough, and if you still feel a bit overwhelmed by game development, I'm pleased to announce that I am designing a free video game development course to teach you everything I learned so you don't have to waste your time and make the same mistakes I did. I will cover everything you need to know about video game development, from music and sounds to 3D modeling, UI development, coding, and level design. If this is something that interests you, feel free to subscribe and stick around, and maybe you'll end up learning something new. So, the rest of the development process, like cooking, is usually subjective. The art style, the music choice, the level design varies depending on the genre and the developer. But it does help to have an idea of what it's going to be like. So in the description below, I have a document that you can use to plan out your entire development process in a lot more detail. And as my way of saying thanks for making it to this part of the video, there's actually a free pack of video game assets that you can download there as well. So, I wish you the best of luck and have a nice day.